Good morning, everybody. So with today's video, I'm going to give you 10 grown and sexy fragrances. What do I mean by grown and sexy? Well, a lot of these, they have that mature sexiness. The best way for me to describe this is, and I'm not big into pop culture, but think of a young Beyonce Knowles. She was a beautiful woman back in the day, but to where she blossomed now, even more so. Better yet, her friend, Kelly Rowland. She looked good back then, but how she blossomed into this beautiful, confident, mature woman, that is what I mean by grown and sexy. Let's start off with a niche fragrance that has designer quality, but at niche price tags. And I used to plug this brand a lot. Bond number 9, New Bond Street. This is definitely grown and sexy. This also has a holiday vibe. This, for me, is Christmas in a bottle. There's gonna be a few fragrances that kind of have that holiday festive spirit, but oh man. This has pepper. It's got chestnut, cacao, coffee, vanilla, patchouli, sandalwood, and I believe leatherwood. What adds this grown and sexy feel, and this is a super cozy fragrance, is gonna be the cacao, the chestnuts, the coffee. Oh. This is definitely leans a little bit more towards the ladies, in my opinion. The bottle itself, very girly. Like when I smell the fragrance and when I see the bottle itself, what comes to mind is a younger woman wearing a red dress, red lipstick, living her best life. Whether that's at the club, on a date, shopping. This is just, it has that classiness, but it's got that sexiness as well. Fragrance number 2, this is gonna be the cheapest one in this list. In my opinion, even though that it's marketed towards the men, can be a little unisex. Boucheron Jaipur Homme. So this was actually launched in 96 or 98. This made another video that I filmed just before this one here, but this is classy, but it's sexy. It's sweet, it is warm. In the opening, you get lots of citruses, of lemon, lime, and bergamot. There's most certainly going to be the cardamom and cinnamon to warm it up. There's going to be benzoin, tonka bean, a little bit of patchouli, and apparently there's going to be like carnation and I think rose, which I don't get. I've stated that many times. But what I've also stated many times is that I get this vanillic, like this vanillic accord. I feel like there's vanilla in this, but what I was told from another fragster is that sometimes benzoin can give off this sweet vanillic scent. I don't know how true that is, but it's not just me that says that they get this vanillic sort of fragrance. Classy but sexy. Like this is turtleneck, it is suit and tie, tuxedo-esque. And again, I did state unisex in my opinion. I think that an older woman can absolutely rock this. Fragrance number 3, this is gonna be the most expensive one in this list. And it's not even niche. When I'm thinking of designer and expensive, I'm thinking of Zegna, which this is not Zegna. But wow, when this has to be more expensive than Bond number 9, it really truly says a lot. I don't have a bottle, but I do have an official dabber. That's how expensive this shit is. Carolina Herrera Iris Empire. This stuff here is like $300-400. That's the reason why I bought this little dabber. I had to use a Q-tip, which is right here. I haven't smelled this since January. Oh my goodness. It's very much heavy in iris. If you don't like iris, this is a fragrance that is definitely not for you, but sexy, classy, grown and sexy though. There are other notes of cinnamon to warm it up. There's gonna be a little bit of Davana, violet. There is leather, but I would say it's more suede. There is dark chocolate. There's gonna be some benzoin olebanum with a little bit of patchouli. It definitely leans more towards the ladies. You have to like iris to really like this fragrance because it's very in your face. Like this is pretty much iris violet with dark chocolate and like resinous tones of like olebanum and benzoin. I don't really get a lot of the cinnamon. There is a little bit there. I don't get the Davana, and there's maybe like a little bit of a suede more in the background. If you're a modern day gentleman who is older, you most certainly can rock this. If you're a guy, you're the type of guy that's all about manners maketh man, the Kingsman sort of guy. That. And this is long lasting. When I used this Q-tip, and boys, I better toss that. This, like when I just did this on my hand, this was 10 hours. With a bottle, I can only imagine how long this lasts. Next one, this is a great gentleman fragrance, and that's gonna be Givenchy Gentleman Reserve Privé. This is sexy, but super classy. This is super versatile. Like you could wear this preppy fashion, a turtleneck, a really bad, ugly Christmas sweater, but all the way to a tuxedo. It's that versatile. There's a lot of chestnut and iris. There is going to be a little bit of a boozy chord, some woods, and amber. This gets a lot of similarities to Dior Intense, and I would also say Valentino Uomo Intense. This is just a little bit different because of the chestnut and that boozy nuance. It's not overly boozy, but it does give it a little bit more of an identity than the DHI, just to separate it a little bit more. Lasts a long time, like 9, 10 plus hours. I'm gonna try to not drag out this video. I have a tendency of really talking a lot, so if you want more detailed reviews, they will all be in the description box below because I've talked about all of these. Next fragrance is niche, but designer quality at niche prices. So you already know it's bond number 9, but bond number 9, Manhattan. This, very much like this, reminds me of Christmas time. This is, I would say this is more Christmas in a bottle. It's the chestnut in this, but it's the gingerbread in this. You're also gonna get plum, honey, there's gonna be beeswax, chocolate, there's gonna be oud, which I don't get, vanilla, ladamum, saffron, nutmeg, peach, and so on. There's definitely a lot going on. But for the most part, and I get a lot more peach from the atomizer than I do in my skin, but I get a lot of chocolate, gingerbread, honey, vanilla. There is gonna be a little bit of a woody nuance, but sweet, playful, grown and sexy. This is a modern day gentleman fragrance, but it's actually quite unisex. It leans more towards the ladies in my opinion, but for you to really rock it, you have to be very comfortable in your skin. You have to be pretty much just a gentleman, in all honesty. I am not a big fan of this one on my skin, but this smells absolutely amazing on my wife. Next fragrance, unfortunately this one is a little bit harder to come by, but it comes and goes on perfumeonline.ca and FragranceNet, and that's going to be Hugo Boss Velvet and Amber. This stuff here, like this lineup, and they have a more modern lineup, which I think the bottles are circular, I'm not exactly sure, but with this lineup, and I'm not sure if it's got the new lineup as well, there's only 3 notes: vanilla, amber, and resins, and that's what you get. The vanilla in this is super creamy, adds this nice creamy sweetness to it, and there's also going to be this powdery undertone. I believe it comes from the vanilla. There is going to be the amber and a little resin as well. Leans a little bit more towards the ladies, but this is one that when I wear it, I feel like a gentleman. I feel grown and sexy. Listen, I stated it many times. If you're new to my channel, I'm a bit of a bro. But when I rock something like this, when I wear something like this, even like this, I feel more proper, more grown, more mature. This is grown and sexy. This is a great night out fragrance. And I also gotta state this is a great intimate fragrance. Next one is gonna be one of the older ones, just like this one here, and I believe that is it, but man, this stuff here, fantastic. Givenchy Pi or P. However you pronounce it, it doesn't matter, as very much like how I stated in the other video that I just filmed, because this one made the cut. This just has this grown and sexy coziness to it. This is a cozy fragrance, very much like this one here. This is a super cozy fragrance, including this one here. This one has a lot of vanilla. It's got benzoin, tarragon, basil. It's also got almond, anise, neroli, and so on. What I personally get, a lot of vanilla, benzoin, a little bit of spice, whether that's anise or maybe some sort of pepper, and most certainly the almond. There's also this sweet creaminess. This is mature, this is classy, this is sexy. And longevity is not bad. Like the original formulation I think lasted like 9-10 hours. You're gonna get about 6 hours with this one here. Next fragrance, this one has made a few videos as of late. The reason being is because I wore this not too long ago and I'm like, this is better than I thought. There's a reason why it's made a little bit more lists as of late. Valentino Uomo 2021. The original 2014 is now discontinued. What you're gonna get, like whenever you get this one online, you're gonna get the studs, okay? The studded neck. Originally it was just very much just like very circular, very smooth. Even the Valentino Uomo has been discontinued. Like the Valentino Uomo Intense, if you get this one, it's gonna be having the studs along the neck as well. But this stuff here is just, it's cozy, it's sexy, but it's classy. You're gonna get a lot of iris. The iris is waxy. It does add this powdery undertone. There's also vetiver, but there's warm spices of cardamom and pink pepper. In the opening, there's like lemon or grapefruit, a short-lived citrus, but for the most part, it's just a lot of iris with a little bit of woods and warm spices. And on my skin and also in the air, I get a little bit of vanilla and a little bit of a cacao, like a little bit of cocoa smell. It's, again, it's just super sexy, but it's super classy. Uomo means man or gentleman in Italian. This is not exactly the most masculine fragrance. So in my opinion, this can be a little unisex. This here is manners maketh man. We're down to two. We're down to a niche and a designer. The niche itself is a lot more affordable than the designer, but this one here, oh my god, this niche, whoo boy. Atkinson's Oud Save the King. This is super sexy, but super grown and sexy. This is just classy. This has Earl Grey tea, suede, orris, oud, sandalwood, and I feel like very much like this one here that it has vanilla. You get this sweet, creamy vanilla core. The orris itself really makes this a unisex fragrance. Oud Save the King. You think oud, ooh, very masculine. King, a man's fragrance. This is unisex. It is marketed as unisex and it leans a little bit more towards the ladies in my opinion. But it's just so damn sexy. And the name is also misleading. Oud, you don't really get oud. If it's there, it's super commercial, very mass appealing. I do get maybe a little bit of a smoky nuance, but this is just for the mature crowd out there. And last but not least, let's finish it off with a designer. I am not looking forward to the editing. That's why I kind of like not going into great description about these, but this one here came out this year in 2024. One of the best releases this year in my opinion. Givenchy Gentleman Society Extreme. This, just super grown and sexy. I like the original. Like the original Society was like a hate or love fragrance. And maybe in some ways this is, but for me, this is better than Society. This fragrance has coffee, vanilla, orris, French narcissus, nutmeg. It's got like different vetivers. But for me, it's like orris, vanilla, a little bit of French narcissus or florals, coffee with some sandalwood as well. Super classy, but super grown and sexy. And guys, that is 10 super grown and sexy fragrances. Any reviews that I've done on these fragrances, and I have talked about all of them, because I have to speed talk a little bit, maybe kind of cut it a little short because I have a tendency of doing this and the editing. Oh God, that's the reason why I am so backed up when it comes to my videos. I just keep filming and just keep talking without enough editing. If you want more detailed reviews on these fragrances, they will all be down in the description box below. If you like this type of video, please leave me one of these. It does show YouTube and the algorithms that you like this type of content. What videos to watch next? Well, why don't you check out right here. So thank you for the time, take care, and I will see you later. Thanks for watching, everybody.